Let's go, let's go, let's go. You are officially in the Michigan Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave, your place for any and all things Michigan football and Michigan beatdowns of the Western Michigan Huskies, Broncos, whatever they names. The drubbing was so bad I forgot the mascot. That's next week. We play the Huskies in Washington. But hey, before we get started, I just want to say my prediction, closest, give me all my flowers immediately. I said
Congratulations, man. That was pretty impressive, bro.
Thank you, sir.
I like
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Yes, sir. Congrats.
But you know, although we killed them, you know, we're critics. And we still see some things that could be improved. Kudos to the boys, first and foremost, for getting the dub.
Go Blue. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff.
What will we be if we just came on here and said, good job, goodbye? We got to still evaluate the tape. We watched some film last night, and we're here with a little bit of, what they call it, Monday morning quarterback, but it's Sunday, I guess. So Sunday morning quarterback where you think you could do everything better than the person on the field. So, yeah, man, just overall takeaways, man. Just big picture. Don't go too deep in the weeds on me, Bowie. But hey, man, game one. I'm just saying you because I'm throwing it your way. So.
Oh, okay. My bad. You know what I'm saying?
Talk to me. Overall takeaway, big picture. What'd you like, man? Didn't like, whatever.
Solid, man. I'm just gonna go with a solid. Because to me, we did exactly what we were supposed to do. We came out and handled business. And just without getting too deep into it, that's going to be my overall take from yesterday. Is solid, man. We performed at a level that I can accept for week one. Working all the kinks out, and again, the coaches figuring out what we have. I mean, even all of us, the first episode, we were like, man, I don't know what we got. So I guess we got a good barometer yesterday of what we got and what the future can look like for us going forward this season.
All right, fair enough. King.
Yes, sir. So this just gives me more optimism, you know what I mean? Because we had a great first drive, like one that we've never had in a long time. Like our first drives always end in
big old
blunders or bloopers or something. So it's a great first drive. Our offense played well. Our defense, at first it looked shaky, but then we got control of the game and played some pretty lights out defense. So just big ups to the team, offense and defense, special teams as well. Only thing is just, man, Ronnie Bell, which I'm sure we'll get into, but man, that's the only really bad thing I can take away. So it just gives me more optimism for the season, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna remain upbeat. You know what I'm saying? So 2 thumbs up, I would say. I'm gonna be corny and say 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna say the same thing y'all said, but obviously it was, it was a solid. It was a solid start to the season. I'll just go there with it, but I do want to touch on Ronnie, man, briefly though, just because, man, first off, he had I think, even though it was game one, week one, I feel like that catch would have held up to one of the greatest of the college football season. I mean, that was a
catch of the year, bro. Catch of the year.
Catch of the year. I'm trying not to be prisoner of the moment just because it's week one, but it had to be up there. If it ain't,
I don't see nobody doing nothing that good all year. Hey.
Yeah, and the worst part was he got robbed out of it.
Yeah, man, that shit crazy, bro. I don't understand that. Like, I know they ain't gonna replay no play like that, but I mean, even if you throw the flag, I would have to be like, as a ref, I'd be like, he caught that. I would just be like, I'm just gonna say no flag just because, damn, that was sweet. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take the ridicule.
Right. Ain't nobody gonna complain. They gonna be too concerned about the great catch.
Yeah, I had to wait for him to catch his balance to actually see that he caught it.
Yeah.
At first, you know what I mean? It didn't look. It's like, man, he ain't catch. I mean, it's just a tough catch. Like, man, he ain't catching that. And then it's like, boom, he caught his balance, come back like, I'm like, whoa, like,
Yeah. And it was just hand fighting the whole way
yeah,
too. It was like he pushed me, I pushed him. It was like, what's the problem? You know what I
you
mean?
ain't supposed to call that.
Nah, definitely not.
Out of all the college football I watched this weekend, I seen way more egregious hand fighting. I mean, the Vincent Gray, they didn't call that, but they called him, and Vincent
Yeah,
Gray was like pulling them, face mask. I'm
man,
like, man,
man.
what? Just be consistent.
Yeah. So, and then he was, well, first, let's two things with Ronnie. One, and me and Bowie were talking about this yesterday. We were like, we get it because he's your playmaker and you want to get him the ball, but should we have been saving him for punt returns against the quality teams? Like, I feel like, now I'm not comparing him to Woodson, don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to prove a point here. Like,
Right.
Woodson was returning punts for Michigan when he was there, but he wasn't doing it every single game. It was just like big moments or big
I was
times
totally.
in
Right.
games. You know what I'm saying? It was like, all
He's a
right, let's
big
get him
player.
back there. But just, I don't know if he should be back there punt returning versus Western. Like, first game of the year. So, I
And it
mean,
cost us.
yeah, and I ain't, hindsight's 2020. He almost broke it. He scored right before that, so he was in the zone, and I don't know, but it just seemed like we could have had somebody else back there, man. So and could it, and he could have, would have, should have. He could have got hurt the next play. You don't never know, but
Right.
still,
Right.
It's
But I'd
football.
rather he get hurt on actually playing receiver than something he shouldn't be
yeah,
playing in a game where he definitely shouldn't be playing. Like y'all should be having these second stringers out here or somebody, that we're priming for that position or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
What's crazy is both number one receivers went down. Western's number one receiver got hurt earlier in the game, so he was out with some type
oh
of
yeah,
ankle
he,
injury.
his knee, his ankle or something, right? Leg.
Yeah,
It was a wheel. Some wheels.
you in football, you only one play away all the time. So it
yeah.
is what it
So
is.
knowing that obviously, we don't know yet, but the way he was looking, it looked like that potentially was a season
Couldn't
ender.
walk. Yeah. I
Early
read something
morning
today.
rumors, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was on the gram. Early morning rumors is
Heard the
torn
same.
ACL, and you said that same thing last night. And I was looking when he couldn't put weight on it. It looked like his Achilles. So either way, it's season ending.
Yeah. So I guess now the next question is going to be who's going to have to who next
Who's
up, right?
stepping up?
Yeah, who's
Yep.
next up? Because it seemed like after he went down, I feel like we started seeing a little more Samer still, which kind of weird because he was actually getting some time in the past years, but it seemed like he may have slid down the depth chart a little bit. So I don't know what y'all feel about with him out. I mean, I think we got the dogs out there to hold it down because he did catch that nice bomb, Ronnie did, and he made that look real easy. He looked comfortable with that deep pass he caught and ran in.
Yeah, he did.
Keen, what you think about our receiving core? You think we got enough behind him? He kind of was the number one and the leader.
Same still, right?
No,
I
no, I'm
mean,
talking about Ronnie being out. Yeah,
oh yeah. Okay, so I mean, AJ Henning had a nice little run around the corner. He didn't catch nothing, but you saw his speed
he
and
was
space. You
fast.
saw a little bit of it. Cornelius Johnson caught his call. He had just one pass he didn't catch or it wasn't catchable or something like that, but he caught most of his targets. And then with Eric All, he caught his ball. You know what I'm saying? He was catching the ball, so that's a step in the right direction. And then
Trees.
so I mean, only time will tell. And then your boy Roman Wilson got out there and caught a ball and ran a little bit. So um I like to see a little bit more, but um I don't know, man, to be honest. Ronnie
Time
Bell
will
looked like he
tell.
was the one before he went down, you know what I mean? Like he caught the ball. And then on the punt return, he was about to down there break it, and then he got hit low or something like that, or something happened, some freak accident. So I have to see more versus a better opponent. I mean, versus a stronger opponent. What's the face? What's that face, Trey?
Let's talk to our receiver extraordinaire on the call. What's up with these wideouts,
um,
man? I'm a little sketchy with Ronnie. Y'all. I feel like he was that guy, man. I don't know. I'm disappointed on
yeah,
him.
I mean, it's gonna be tough to replace that production or that potential production. Like King said, and like you said, Train. You could kind of see the flash of what his potential was gonna be this season. I don't think we can make it up at receiver. I just don't think we have those type of players on his level. Um, we'll get some solid production. I like Henning, but I think Coach Gaddis should try to make it up out of the backfield. Swing Corum out of the backfield, put him in some slot positions, so he can potentially get out on the field for more plays. And I'd rather have playmakers out on the field than have him on the sideline waiting to spell Haskins. So I think the receiving is going to come out of the backfield with a combination of Haskins and Corum. But as far as like a guy that can step up and make the plays that Ronnie could at receiver, yesterday I didn't see it. Granted, we only threw the ball, 17 times? So, I mean, what could you really have seen? But hopefully going forward, somebody emerges. But right now, at this point, I don't see nobody like stepping up into that role.
Somebody gonna have to. I'm hoping it could be Johnson, maybe. But
receivers by committee.
yeah, I mean, it's enough people out there and fast enough dudes where somebody should be open still.
Right.
So, all right. So let's talk defense real quick. Obviously, they did a pretty good job outside of that very first drive Western had when they went straight down the field. And I believe that Bowie used the term Swiss cheese after that first
Yes,
drive.
sir.
But thankfully, they settled in. And after that, they didn't really get too much. And actually, Western's quarterback, he's decent, man.
Yeah.
Ellaby. Yeah.
Ellaby, yeah. He was sitting in there. You know, he kept getting hit.
Joe Moxie.
He was sitting in there, but at the end of the day, it was just too much for him to overcome. But, man, I'm going to talk about Hutchinson, man. He was as advertised yesterday, and it's looking like you said, Keen, on the broadcast, they were calling him the best end in the country, right? So that's high praise. And then he just started, right after they said that, he just started taking off on everybody, whoever was trying to block him. So I was happy to see, because, we've been hyped up a bunch of times with players, and it was refreshing to see it actually being what they said for once. And I told Bowie, I was listening to something, I think it was Harbaugh on some podcast. He was saying that in the offseason, Aiden Hutchinson went into the strength coach and basically told him, like, kill me. Like every single day. Yep. He was like, I want you to all the way just kill me in the weight room. So, and that was his request to the strength coach. That's some leadership, man.
I want that dog on my team. You know what I'm saying?
I want to give special shout outs to Hutchinson. I'll let y'all talk about the D in general. Who y'all like, Bowie? Who stood out to you on D? And we'll get into the drip after that.
But real quick, Trent, y'all saw that on when they was talking about Aiden Hutchinson, that when he had that 135 on the barbell and they didn't have no clamps on there, he was getting up with that mug, like, bro.
That takes some strength, dog.
Freaky.
Right. He tried to do that with a kettlebell in his heart. But this motherfucker got weights. Like, he holding that mug like a dumbbell or something.
Like Thor's hammer.
Sure.
Oh, man. Defense. Again, first time we've ever seen this defense, new defensive coordinator, different things going on. Of course, Hutchinson jumped off the screen. Dax made some plays, was in position. His technique sometimes gets a little out of whack, and he puts himself in bad situations by just doing some unorthodox stuff. I remember I showed you when he got beat on an out route to the outside, like he's turning his back to the receiver, and I'm like, bruh, like you can't get beat off the line like that. But again, I mean, being the athlete that he is, I think he feels like he can make up for a lot of different things. I am very, very skeptical about our secondary. Against these receivers and then their top receiver being out, they completed a lot of balls that you feel like, dang, like just you're there. Like you mentioned, old boy Green, you're there, but how do you just get snagged on? Like,
man. I just thought there was no way he could do that to you. It's like it's almost harder to have that happen than not happen.
Right. That's 9 out of 10 times he's gonna drop it. But when you're there, he catches it the one time. So I really am skeptical about our secondary. I touched on Vincent Gray. I mean, he got let off the hook a couple of times. Like, just he's handsy. He's really handsy.
The whole
Who
time we're
that?
watching,
Great.
B just kept saying, I just can't trust him.
Yeah,
I don't
just
trust.
and and then I mean, a lot of the times we were in zone and they were big zones. Like it
They
was
still
like,
learning
man,
though. They
yeah,
still learning that
yeah,
zone.
yep,
Don
yep,
was
yep.
just man to man.
Yep, I get that because and like you saying, Train, a lot of them corners have been strictly man corners since they've been there. So we'll tighten that up. The linebackers, I really like number 41. What's his name? I don't want to butcher this. Nakia Hill Green. He jumped off the screen. He was making plays. He was in there getting his hat in there. I thought he was a safety, but they got him listed as a linebacker. So outside of Dax and Hutchinson, I'll say I'll go with Hill Green. I like the way he was flying around the rock.
Yeah, yeah, no, he was. That's the one who snatched Mike Bear's spot. So at least it would look like it was a good call. If he was out there cheeks, then I'd have been like, why Barrett ain't out there?
Right. Cheeks.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
D, what you see from D, bro?
So I'm gonna just come from an overall standpoint since Bowie broke it down, you know what I'm saying? Good job, great job breaking it down, my man. So the first drive, I was scared, you know what I'm saying, because we gave up pretty much as many plays, as many yards as we did our first drive when we ran down the field and scored. But after that, we pretty much got it together, man. Second through their sixth drive, they punted. On the seventh drive, we blocked the field goal, you know what I'm saying? And on the eighth through ninth, they punted. The 10th drive, they punted, but we ran into the kicker. That was that penalty, and then they called it back. And then that's when they scored with like 3 minutes and 39 seconds left. So other than that, I mean, it would have been that first touchdown, and you know what I'm saying, after they scored the second time,
Lock up.
it'd have been a pretty good game overall as a defense. And that's what you want to see with a new coordinator and things are supposed to be looking up, you know what I mean, as opposed to giving up 340 or 334 yards per game to last year, you know what I mean? So I feel like I'm gonna use the word again. I know y'all probably getting tired of it, but optimistic. Like it's Western Michigan, it's the
Facts.
WAC conference. I mean, the MAC conference, mid major. So I'm just trying to tame my expectations to see what we're gonna do versus some real competition in the Big Ten.
Yeah. I think the word you're looking for is cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yep, that sounds good. We know
Cautiously
what did
optimistic. There
Pun
you
say
go.
yesterday
Well,
on live? He was like, after that first game, he went all in and ended up getting burned. That's why we're cautiously optimistic.
said he's still paying the brass tax on that.
Oh, they'll get you.
Um,
I'm writing
so
that down.
so the defense, the one thing that Bowie, I didn't like it either, but he was appalled with it was he was thinking our defensive players' jerseys all look go ahead, B. Talk to us, man. What's the problem with the drip, man? Give us a
Bruh,
drip breakdown.
we gotta have some sort of swag about us. Like it looked like everybody's jersey was a size too big. Like if you're supposed to be in a large jersey, they were wearing an extra large jerseys. And like I've never tucked my jersey into my pants. I've always taped it
It up.
underneath my jersey. Yes, to make it made it tighter. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right underneath the numbers.
We grew up in an era where jerseys were
big.
bigger and they were supposed to be bigger. So we always wanted to make them tighter. But yeah, Western's jerseys, even they skin tight, even the offensive linemen skin tight jerseys, and our jerseys out there looking whack.
Trash baggy.
Yeah, sagging. And then I don't like the white gloves. I'm not gonna be a stickler on that, but I don't like the white gloves with our colors. I mean, throw some maize gloves on or something. At least they'll match the pants. You know what I'm saying? And then you could do a maize spat. I mean, there's just different ways I would have freaked the jersey. We're dripless right now.
Even Dax Hill, his jersey was like this into his pants.
Like, hey man, y'all jerseys supposed to have like, I'll let you boy. I'll get your
I'm gonna just tuck mine in.
Hey, ain't the jersey supposed to have like tape on the inside or something like that? Like, so it sticks to the pads or something like that?
Always take my jersey, dog.
Yeah.
I've never not taken.
Like, no, I mean like on the inside of the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like when I
Supposed to
see
be
other
tacky.
colleges, it's hard to grab a jersey and then it'll stay where it's at. It, you know what I'm saying? But
You should never be able to put your jersey and pads on yourself. You should always need help. That's how tight they should be.
Right.
If you can put it on
Get me.
yourself, then
Somebody supposed to be.
exactly. Somebody's supposed to be yanking you.
like, hey, our lineman jerseys, they was tight. You know what I'm saying? Them was tight.
They
But
look. They looked at like, and your boy Hill Green, he did play good, but his whole jersey, his whole upper torso looked like a square. It was like, it looked like he put his jersey and his pads on at the same time. He just went.
Yep. And if you can do that, no, it ain't tight enough, bruh.
Oh, it was
that's
like
crazy.
Yeah,
Get it
so
together, Jordan.
I didn't even notice it till we talked at halftime, and I started looking. I'm like, dang, man. I
All
was
of
just
them running around looking like pamper butts. Like, damn, man, what's wrong with y'all?
you supposed to tape it right underneath the numbers. I remember.
Yep.
Hold that thing right underneath the numbers.
And I know now they got some new stuff where you ain't got to get the old duct tape like we used to, so it never came loose.
Duct tape.
I don't get
I wasn't seeing enough wristbands. I wasn't seeing enough back flaps. You know what I'm saying?
Jordan
it ain't
drip.
about
Where
that.
did Jordan drip at? Where did drip be at?
I mean, they used to have to tell me my jersey was too high because my back flap would be hanging out the back. You know what I'm saying? I used to get reprimanded because trying to be too drippy.
Yeah. And then we were even talking about their choice of cleat. It was like, why aren't you going with the classics? Like they're going with like the Jordan,
the Jordan brand,
Jordan Trooners, and the Jordan brand. Like, I seen the coaches like, yo, I would have some 11s, some 12s, some 1s. Like they out there and like the Jordan Roy Jones Juniors. I'm like, what is y'all doing? Man, y'all gotta freak this drip a little bit better.
Yeah, because that's one thing. Like DPJ and Nico and Tariq Black and all them, they used to be wearing
drip. They'll be iced out.
They used to be icy out there. These cats, they need to come back and give them a quick Zoom tutorial or something.
A tutorial on
like, hey,
on
that
dress.
ain't it. And then you see the sleeves on McNamara. Those
the Peyton Manning joints.
Yeah, he just got a wind gust comes through
down to the elbows.
You got to be a tenured NFL quarterback to pull those off.
Hey, we need to holler at the equipment manager too, man. That's their fault too, getting them big ass jerseys.
That's the first person I paid when I got to college. Hey, yeah, yo, take this little 20 for the season.
Make sure
anything I need, bruh, you got
it. This 20. Get out of here, man.
Hey, inflation, it done went up now, but back in my day, $20.
That's like at least 100 now.
Yeah, right.
Back
you
in
could buy seven couple boxes of ramen noodles.
Anything I don't use, I'll give it to you. There you go. Fine. Where you at?
I always got to take care of the equipment manager. That's priority one.
I was 20.
I was appalled by the drip. Honestly, I didn't like it at all. A couple of cats look clean. It ain't gonna go on everybody, but like,
right.
It wasn't
ones
a whole.
That needed to look clean.
It wasn't a whole team like coming out like, oh, they icy. It was like he's icy, and then them 10, they're all average at best. Like, hey man, Deion said it. You look good, you feel good.
Play good.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. We didn't blaze their drip enough.
Y'all still good in my book though.
I want to go to he is trying to turn over a new leaf. He gives those last little qualifying statements to not fully roasting.
Not fully blazing.
Yeah.
It's early, Train. It's early in the season though, dog.
Hey, do your thing. I ain't mad at you.
Stuff
You said you're trying to turn over a new leaf. So
stuff changes.
Let's talk about offense. And we could talk about. I want to talk about two things, so we don't have to circle around twice. But just in general, Dean, talk to me about one. We're gonna get to McCarthy, but first McNamara, and then two, also just the play calling in general. Like, what do you see from them two things?
At times, the play calling was reverted back to the old ways of Hey, run into
our
our dicks are in the dirt type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So play calling. I saw some speed and space plays though. You know what I'm saying? Where we did take some big plays and we took them to the house. Trey made a good point about the big plays downfield.
Yeah,
About the
vertical pass game.
Yeah, vertical passing. We were just throwing fades. But the quarterback, McNamara, I mean, he's 9'11", 136, 2 touchdowns. You couldn't ask for a more efficient game. The two that he didn't complete were batted at the line. So, I mean, you can't ask for a more efficient game. He threw a nice deep ball to Ronnie Bell before he went down. But the play calling, man, at the end of the half, bro, like, what were we doing? Like,
yeah,
that looked like
all the way off.
That looked like some J.W. Sexton circa 2000.
Circa
80, circa Bob Myers era. Circa Bob Myers era. Not just 2002. Bob Myers era, the whole era. Oh man, no, that hurt my soul because we got athletes, we have the speed and space. I don't know why we didn't use it, especially right there where you need it, because there's not a lot of space. So that's when you want to use our speed, because Corum was coming out the backfield catching balls, shaking and baking. So I don't mean to get into him, but I mean, just play calling towards the end of the half and in certain situations, in certain moments, it just reverted back to the old ways of just run, or we're gonna do this a certain way. I don't know, like that just pissed me off a little bit. But other than that, quarterback play was good, and play calling, I saw some good plays with speed and space. But like AJ Henney broke one, and Corum was getting busy. He had, man, he's
elusive, dog.
You called it, Train. You called it on the breakoutness. Yeah, you called it on that one. Hey, but overall,
I said throw him flares. Throw him a flare. Man. They did, and he scored.
Man, he's nice.
Yeah, he's elusive.
He nice.
B, what you think, bro? Because I know for a while there we weren't overly ecstatic about the play calling. Even though it was moving the ball, it was still like.
Right. It was ho-hum, you know. I'm still trying to figure out Gaddis's his strategy. I mean, his play call rhythm. It just seems like King said, like you're just running the same things over and over again. And I know McNamara's, you know what I'm saying, he's young, first year starter, but it doesn't seem like he has options to do anything else. It's like, okay, if this is a run play, I have to give it to him. Like, because I mean, we were sitting there watching the game. Why doesn't he never pulls the ball? He always hands it to the running back. Like, and then the one time I won't talk about the one time McCarthy did pull it, he threw that touchdown. And it's like, why don't we run more plays with him pulling and receivers dragging across the field at like you said, Trent, yesterday, levels? It's just like, man, we're just gonna run the ball. I mean, we have 43 rushing attempts to 17 passing attempts. I'm like, where's the balance? So again, first game, I don't want to seem like 47 points is always good. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's the first game, but it's like I'm just sitting there watching the game. I'm trying to find his rhythm. And then at the end of the half, it seems like he doesn't have a rhythm because then that happens. You know what I mean? So
this ain't our first game. Damn that.
Yeah, I just don't understand his play calling yet. And again, first game, so I'll give him time. But yesterday it was just ho-hum. I mean, the big play to Ronnie. I do like McNamara's deep ball though. I mean, we talked about it a little, Train. He could have threw it and kept him on the outside, and maybe he gets tackled, but he threw it to where Ronnie ended up replacing over top of the corner, giving him the ability to keep running. So, I mean, that was great ball placement. He has the ability to throw the deep ball. As we've seen, it's early because we haven't had that for a couple of years, a quarterback that can make an accurate deep ball throw. So
not to hit somebody on the run, like, oh, I don't have to slow down 10 feet.
Facts, not a jump ball, deep ball.
I can actually just run and do this.
Yep.
Keep running.
Oh, in stride.
I'm really, I don't want to get that deep into it. I just want to think, when's the last time we had a game where we had two big plays of over 70 yards? It's been a while. You know what I'm saying?
That was the most offensive yards we've had since 2016. So
that's 51. Yeah,
that was a welcoming sight. But
right. I mean, so I don't want to get too hard on Gaddis. I mean, because the stats y'all just mentioned, we scored 47 points. We'll just see. But for me, that game was just ho hum, just like more of the same.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just like, here was my thing. Even though we rushed for a lot of yards, there was like a lot of big plays, like 70. Like them
Yeah.
one
Right.
reverse went for 70 something. Like I almost would have been more encouraged if it was like those runs, like because we had too many runs where it was just like 1 yard, 0 yard,
Yeah.
1 yard, 1 yard. I'm like, I would have just rather had like every time we line up, it's a 5, 6 yard gain. That's just like straight up leaning on them.
That's
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's
I was
That's a
just like,
consistent run game.
yeah, I could just see it like when we playing like a Wisconsin or something. Like, oh, okay, I can see a lot of 1 yard runs without
yeah.
the 70 yard run. I'm
Right.
projecting, but
And then 1 yard runs, you always gonna be behind the chains. It's just gonna put more
Yeah.
pressure on McNamara.
yeah. Then during the telecast, they actually said, "Oh, Josh Gaddis said we're solidifying like he basically said like we're focused on the run game, which I'm expecting we're going to see a whole lot of get her dones up in there."
Get her, get her, get her.
Yeah. So,
Man.
anyways, real quick. So yeah, I mean, I agree with y'all. McNamara, I feel like he looked good. Didn't really love the fact that we didn't have a downfield passing game. I know it might sound crazy since he did throw some fades. That ain't what I'm talking about. That's just drop back, throw a fade. I'm talking about like a vertical
Right.
pass game. That's the
Right.
difference. Didn't really see a vertical pass game. A lot of them were short routes, short crossing routes, and all that. Which I know that's part of our offense, but at some point, man, we're gonna have to. You're gonna be in situations where you got to have a downfield passing game. So
Oh, you know what game that's gonna be.
a couple of games we're gonna need it.
Yep.
So I just don't. I understand the vanilla approach, but sometimes I'm like, yo, we need to practice this stuff that we're going to need to do in real games though too. So we can't just try to keep everything. Oh, don't show them that. It's like no, we need to practice that. They still need
Right.
to know when it's coming. You can still run it out of different alignments, stuff like that. But I ain't surprised. Up the
Especially
gut.
the score we put up yesterday, we could have practiced a lot of things.
Period.
Man,
So real quick, McCarthy, he came in, looked solid, and then obviously he had you know what, McCarthy coming in throwing that pass reminded me of when Denard got to campus. Remember he got in that first game, he like fumbled that first snap, and they were like, they call him shoelace, and they were basically like, this is his first time on the field, and he just bluffed the snap, and it's like, you know what? And matter of fact, that was versus Western too. Wow, I just realized that. And he took it to the house on his first play.
yeah.
That was kind of like, which I'm hoping McCarthy winds
Uh-oh.
up better than that, but
If he's
it kind of
better,
reminded me like, yo, first game versus Western, and like a breakout play that was kind of like a wow play, you know. So,
Right.
what you think about
do
that
that
pass?
thing.
Yeah, no, I was saying what you think about that pass, boy. That was
It
fire.
was a spectacular play. Yeah, I don't want to get too high up on him. It's kind of discouraging to me though, because it kind of gives us a false sense as fans. We might be in a quarterback controversy. You know what I'm saying? That big splash play that he had, and then McNamara's leash just gets shorter. You know what I'm saying? But JJ, man, he the future. And McNamara don't get comfortable. I like that sort of competition on the team, but at the same time, I don't want fans to get too like, oh, he ain't balling. Put in McCarthy. That's just typically that's how it goes down or has went down the last couple of years at Michigan because we just haven't had good quarterbacks. So he's the truth, man. He was as advertised on that play. I like his ability to create on the fly. Again, he finally pulled it and rolled out, and it was an excellent ball because he could have threw that like to the sideline again, but it was great placement to give the receiver opportunity to run after the catch. So I like him, man. We'll see more of him.
Team.
So they showed a little clip of him throwing a similar pass like that, but he was jumping in the air, throwing it like
Got a cannon.
Yeah,
30,
practicing
like
that.
Cannon.
some yards in there. You know what I mean? Like just stuff you would, you know what I'm saying? You want your quarterback to be able to do. And on that pass, the way he threw it is he was running, but he had to turn to his outside shoulder and then catch it and then start running. So it was great ball placement. And I didn't know what he was doing because it just looked like he was like, man, waiting for something to get open. But my man was just running and he threw it. So he knew what he was doing, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, oh man, I'm gonna just throw this up. It was great ball placement, and then for the young buck to catch it and run it in.
That was that transfer from Dion school.
Ball, okay, yeah. Tennessee? Where Dion
Hailing
at?
Baldwin.
Yeah, Baldwin. But yeah, man. He was 4 for 6, 80 yards and a touchdown. So like Bowie said, man, I would say we have a quarterback controversy, and it's two actually decent quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say great or you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna just say decent right now, but they did what they were supposed to do. So
Yeah.
One looks like a manager, one looks like an athlete.
But just to add to that, McNamara was the first dude when McCarthy was going in. He was the first dude to come up to him and gave him some words of encouragement. And when he did throw that pass, he was the first dude to come over and congratulate him. So that sits well with me. The fans, they're gonna say what they want to say. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's gonna happen. But as long as the locker room is cool and the locker room is no it doesn't create animosity toward in the locker room, I'm good. I mean,
and I think Hutchinson's gonna make sure that don't happen, King. Because remember you remember what he said about McNamara.
Yeah.
So I think if the leadership in the locker room is gonna go a long way for us. So, and I think Hutchinson's a good leader.
But don't get comfortable, McNamara. Like Bowie said, don't get comfortable. That's all.
He can't.
Nah. Hey, that's like you said, healthy competition. He know, like, I better keep balling or
right.
Name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness.
Yep.
Get paid.
All right. So real quick, next week we play Washington, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that who's up? The Huskies.
Yep. I'll go over here just to confirm.
Yep.
And Giles Jackson left us to go play for Washington. So I hope he gets on the field and I hope Hutchinson catches him slipping.
Yes, sir.
But Keen, you said Giles Jackson didn't even get no burn for Washington, huh?
Yes. Somebody tweeted, it was a Bleacher Report. They said Giles Jackson should have just stayed home, dog. I'm gonna go ahead and head out.
Sometimes the grass ain't always green, dog.
They lost to Montana Grizzlies.
Yeah.
You think they still gonna be ranked?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
They're ranked, and I mean, I know rankings ain't shit, but they're ranked and we're not. To start the season, they lose to Montana Grizzly, the Grizzly Bears.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one way to look at it. It's two ways to look at it, I guess. One,
they're gonna be ready to play.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, damn, we're kind of a laughing stock right now. We got to bounce back. Or two, they're obviously just not that good. They're that bad. So either way, they're coming to. It's at the big house too, right? Yeah. So.
Yep.
Come on, man. A team that just lost to Montana and they're coming to the big house. It should be no excuses, man. So I'm thinking we should start 2-0. I mean, I don't really know much else about them. B, did you get anything else on them? Are they quarterback? I don't even know what's going on. I just saw they lost to Montana.
On Washington?
Yeah.
I didn't get nothing else that we don't already know. I wasn't paying too much attention to them after I seen that they lost to Montana. I wasn't worried. I mean, not that I was worried before, but I feel like it's going to be another Western game, you know what I'm saying? Or it should be.
Quarterback threw 3 picks.
Ooh, 3 picks.
That's another thing about our DBs, man. We got to take advantage when it's opportunity to pick the football, man.
Hawkins, he stay dropping a pick.
Dang.
I say Giles Jackson had he ain't do nothing that receiver. He had 8 targets. No, okay. 8 targets, 4 receptions, 15 yards.
Oh, so he is out there.
But 8 targets, 4 receptions, 15 yards? You left for that?
Hey man, whose man's is that?
Not ours.
Yeah. Yep. So these cats really transferred out. Charbonnet balling out of UCLA. What y'all think about that? Hey man, I feel like he was sliding down the depth chart.
Yeah. Hey man, he ain't want no smoke,
bro. I mean, I don't know. It's only a couple of reasons you transfer. Either you getting your spot sick or you're homesick. Because he's from Cali. But I mean, if you homesick, take your ass home. You know what I mean?
I said, take your ass home.
Dang. closer to home. I mean, I can. Again, if you getting your spot took or you homesick, that means mentally you might not be one of the strongest players. So I can do without you.
Bye.
Peace.
Yeah. I mean, he was playing though at first, so I don't know. I feel like he got his spot checked personally. But
Hey, the
Hey,
way
hold on.
Corum was playing, it looked like you might have been sliding down the depth chart.
and then Haskins is like, I feel like Haskins is a power guy too, but I feel like he's a little faster than Charbonnet too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Real quick, run down on that Washington Montana game. They had the ball for 31 minutes, Washington. But it looked like they just turned the ball over 3 times, and Montana didn't.
Hey,
Because they had 21 first downs.
that'll get you, dog.
They beat him in total yards, all that.
Hey,
They
win the
ran
turnover
more
battle.
plays.
You can have the yards. Give me the turnover battle.
Hopefully they stay ranked. They was 20. You lose in Montana, you probably gonna fall out of the top 25.
It depends on who after him.
That would have been a good win for us. We go ahead and punish them at number 20.
All right, so shoot. We got any parting words? What's going on this? Let's get a prediction real quick. Score for next week versus Washington.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Since we put up 47 this week, I'll say we put up 42-7. You say 42-7. 42-7.
I'm gonna go off of the premise that I just don't think we'll have big plays, but just not as many that go for touchdowns. I'll stick around my 28 to, I'll stay with that 28-7.
27. All right. I'm gonna go with, I say 31-14. Like they'll get a couple buckets, and I don't think we're gonna run up 47 again. We might, I don't know, but
I'm banking on they sorry as they advertise.
Right.
Exactly. If
If
they got a quarterback that don't take care of the rock, I don't think they're gonna be scoring that much.
Hopefully we get some pick sixes or something.
Hold on, let's crawl before we walk. Let's get a pick. If the pick comes straight into your bread basket, I'm gonna need you to make it.
Right. Then they dive and trying to catch it when you could just catch that on the run.
Right.
You dive, you really better catch it.
Gotta get them ball skills up.
Gene, what's going on on the gram, brother man?
Oh, hit us up at the Michigan Man Cave Podcast on IG. We're back active. We got virtual platform now. So, hit us up whenever you feel the need. We'll respond. If you want to hit us up on there to come on here on the show, feel free. You know what I'm saying? That's at the Michigan Man Cave Podcast on IG.
Yeah, that bird flying around looking like.
Where we also on Twitter. We like fan interaction, man. We want to get y'all perspective, y'all points of view. If we're right, you know what I'm saying, you feel like you got a better point of view, we want to hear from you. So hit us up on Twitter. On Twitter, it's just the Man Cave Podcast on Twitter. It's not it's the Michigan Man Cave Podcast. So hit us up, man. We like to hear from y'all and get y'all perspective. And like King said, man, get y'all on here, man, now that we can actually see people and do things, Yes,
sir. Always, man. Make sure when you watch this on YouTube, you hitting that like and subscribe button, comment, send it to some friends, do all that stuff. So, we appreciate everybody who's checking it out. And I guess we'll check in with y'all after we go 2-0. So, Killer Kale, hit us with that outro. We're gonna check back with y'all next week. L to the victory.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.